Greetings and welcome to another installment of TFT, Oberon's Outlook on Emotional Exchanges, a weekly forecast for the emotional ups and downs of our elemental signs. So we're going to start off right now by doing our air signs. Let me switch my cameras here. Alrighty. And these are signs such as, I have a little shadow there, sorry about that. Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini. Let's see if I can move the camera and get rid of that. That helps a little bit. So that's our air signs. And this is what I see. I have the Hanged Man. I have the Three of Swords. And I have Judgment. So I think some of us are going to be having a hard time making adjustments in our life that correspond to sacrifices we might have to make in the emotional areas of our lives. And I also see that there's a definite question about whether or not somebody breaks somebody's heart or somebody's heart is broken. The Three of Swords indicates some really rather strong emotional strife, and it's not totally clear. I get the feeling like maybe it is the air signs themselves that may be experiencing that. I don't necessarily think that's a relationship problem. It just could be something that we've been waiting for, that emotionally was happy for us, and maybe we had to give up on it. The Hanged Man. And of course, this will make us better, but that judgment, that realization may go on for a while, even beyond this week. So I see that turbulence happening for the air signs. And of course, with an air sign, it is more about the intellectual realm. So this could be more about something that is some sort of undertaking. Maybe it's job related, something like that. But I do see that happening. Now for our next sign, we are doing the fire signs. So those are signs like Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And so for those signs, this is what I see. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle the cards. Ooh, a similar card. And again, this is kind of interesting. And not that one, but I see two similar cards here. I also see, once again, for our fire signs, I see Judgment and the Hanged Man. So cards that are talking about reawakenings, cards that are talking about giving up and making sacrifices. And then I also see Justice reversed. And so I wonder about that one. I wonder too if somebody has a realization that amongst the fire signs that what they gave up was not the best thing to give up, and that maybe some of that reawakening or that adjustment of their knowledge is that realization of a faulty sacrifice and how that prepares us for looking ahead. And some of us may find that it turns us a little bit more indifferently into the emotional realms, that maybe some of us sort of have more of a resolve to while away this next week or so without really giving too much credence to that. So that's a personal decision, I suppose. We are moving into the holiday season, so hopefully hearts melt a little bit. But that's what I see for the fire signs. So now we're going to move on to our water signs. Okay, those are signs like Scorpio and Cancer and Pisces. And so this is our 1 week outlook for those signs. So we're going to do that right now. We're going to shuffle the cards and take a look and see what's going on with our water signs. And I have that one. Okay, and I see a Nine of Wands reversed, a King of Cups upright, and then the Queen of Cups reversed. So that's an interesting match for our water signs. And with the Nine of Wands, I'm getting the feeling that in the realms of our emotional outlook for this week, what we are seeing is a resolve and a willingness to understand that there are forces here that you're just sort of going to have to work with for the time being. And those forces may be personified by the King of Cups upright and the Queen of Cups reversed. And so that sounds to me like maybe getting in the way of couples emotional bickerings and or emotional life, their ups and downs. So some of that can be good, some of it can be bad. And so you may be thinking, you water signs, about whether you're holding your own in the emotional realm, whether things are working for you, if you're applying your beneficence and understanding to situations, or I got a little bug flying around there. If you're being carried away somehow emotionally, and you're giving into excessive emotions, and you're being petty and jealous, or if it's a little bit of both of those, if you're going back and forth there. So you're going to have to take a stand, I think, is what this card tells me, in the next week ahead. And you're going to have to really think about where you want to position yourself. Do you want to add strength to the equation, or are you willing to not do that and maybe let things get a little bit more emotional? So you have to think about that in this next week ahead. And that's what I have for the water signs. And now finally, we're moving on to our last sign, our last element, the earth signs. And those are the Taurians, and those are the Capricornians, and those are the Virgos. So Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus, this reading is for you. This is your emotional currents. These are the emotional ups and downs for you in this next week. So let's see what we got going there for you. We're going to just take a moment to let that focus and go ahead and pull those cards now. And I have for you that and that and that. And they're all reverse cards, so that's not good necessarily. I have a reversed Prince of Swords. And I have a reversed Prince of Discs. And I have the reversed Six of Cups. And so some of that is about letting go. With our earth signs, maybe it is a little harder to let go. Sometimes we're a little more stubborn, but we're holding on to things. And maybe it's some of the feelings we've had about the kind of delays or upheavals in our life, things that we waited for but did not happen. And maybe these were linked to the realms of emotions. And so maybe there were some situations that we thought were going to happen and they didn't happen. Maybe there was a message you were waiting for. Maybe there was some planned situation that was furthering the relationship. Because I do think it is about that. I think it's about a relationship that is not quite there yet for some of us here. And I'm also seeing too the idea that maybe what is not inspiring to some of us is that we actually have hardly begun a new situation, but yet we're already thinking that we might as well end it or give it up. And so this is more that attitude of just not wanting to be hurt and not wanting to really stick one's neck out any further. So I think that's what's happening here too, is that we're seeing a lot of that. We're seeing an indecisiveness. We're seeing an unwillingness to act because of lack of information. And maybe too, I think we're also feeling that we're just sort of overwhelmed and we're caught up in our past too much, and we're not able to think beyond that. So that's what I see going on for the earth signs. Hopefully that is just a moment in time, a snapshot, if you will. But stay tuned for our next week, where we will review this once again. That's TFT, Oberon's Outlook on Emotional Exchanges. And that comes to you on Fridays, the day of Venus. So hopefully everyone will chill until then and have a good week as possible.